Namaskar. Today I will talk about National Education Policy 2020 and its fundamental principles. In the previous video, I talked about sustainable development goals and we understood the real meaning of development. Development means social development, basic upliftment of the people, economic development, rights, political freedom and environment sustainability. And all these were given shape in United Nations General Assembly 2015 in the form of Agenda 2030, also known as Sustainable Development Goals. This clearly means that the world can move only in one direction, that is sustainability, in order to survive. But how to promote sustainability in attitudes, actions, approaches? For this, we have to train the current and future generations because they are going to become the movers and shapers of the society and the world in future. And where is this current generation? They are in schools and colleges. Let's talk about India. 26 crore students are enrolled in schools and 4 crore in higher education. That means we have to broad base the education system in a manner where more awareness is being imparted so that the society becomes more concerned and definitely work for improvement, that is sustainability. Till now, our education system was mostly based on promoting more literacy and more degrees, and actually this thing was required. Let's go back in history. Let's talk about the introduction of English by the Britishers. The purpose of introduction of English by the Britishers was not educating the Indians, but for getting the workers for the British administration. Now, when you talk about in 1947, when India became independent, India was a highly underdeveloped country, and hence we required to restart the country. For restarting the country, various things were getting laid. The ministries and departments were emerging and the schemes were being launched. Similarly, more states were being created. Again, ministries and departments were getting created. So what were required? Workers and officers were required to run all these schemes, programs and departments. Similarly, education institutions were taking shape from the IITs, the IIMs, the AIMS, as well as the primary schools. Health institutions were getting shaped. Public sector units were emerging throughout the country. So what were required? The large number of literate, skilled and definitely graduate people were required to run the country. When in 1951 the literacy rate was only 16% and you can count the number of graduates hardly on fingers. So hence we worked on what? Improving the literacy and the graduate numbers so as to get the people in positions, so as to what? Restart the country and get the country in a moving shape. Now we have reached the level of 75 years of independence. That means now we are in a moving shape. That means we need to broad base the system of education beyond degrees, diplomas and certificates, because the world definition of development has become more broadened. Social development and environment conservation are now the two important keys. Now how to impart this? This can be imparted only through multidisciplinary system of education, more conceptual system of education. So let's see whether national education policy has those features or not. So let us identify all the points one by one. My name is Ritesh Kumar Singh, an ex-civil servant. So let's see the first point in National Education Policy 2020, fundamental principles. Now, if you want to target the mindsets of the youngsters who are going to shape the country and the society and the world in future, that means we have to consider education as a service to all. It should not be a profit-making entity because we need to expand education to all. So let's see the first major point here. So first major point is education is a public service. So it's a service to the people. And what type of service we expect? We expect good quality service. We never expect poor quality service. So hence the second major point which has been emphasized here is access to quality education must be considered basic right of few people? No, each and every child we are talking about. So quality education is a basic right of each and every child. That has been emphasized. Now, if this is a basic right of each and every child, so will this be provided only by the private education institutions? If that is the way forward, then many of the children cannot afford that education. This means this can only be forwarded by a very, very vibrant public education system, means government funded public education system. So as the third major point is substantial investment in a vibrant public education system. So let us do a thing. Let us do maybe a task where we are going to what connect all the points in a very sequential manner. There's no need of memorizing all those points. First of all, education is a public service, a service to all. Service we expect of good quality. Good quality service is the right of each and every child. Now it requires investment. Investment not by the private players but the government investment, public education system. Then it will become more inclusive in nature. Policy emphasizes that 6% of GDP should be going towards education. So that means this cannot be increased immediately, but definitely what is required is sustainable increase on annual basis. Now, next requirement is, are all the children similar? No, all the children are actually different from each other. They may possess different unique capabilities. So why we force everybody through the same tunnel? When you force everyone through the same tunnel, then only few emerge successfully academically and rest may be lost in between. That does not mean the rest may not be having other capabilities. So if we are not properly utilizing our emerging demographic dividend, the youngsters, it is a loss to the nation. Hence, the next acceptance in the policy is recognizing, identifying and fostering the unique capabilities of each and every child. So each and every child brings its unique set of skill sets. So accordingly we have to train them, educate them and definitely make them successful irrespective of the area of work in future. So this is the way we are going to build a better society. Hence this approach where we are considering each and every child is different provides flexibility. So flexibility to choose their own paths in life according to their talents and interests. Now, when this is the way of promoting flexibility, naturally the next thing becomes better, that is inclusion. Now, we are a country where enrollment rate may be very high, but but also equally very high is the dropout rate. That means we have to reduce the dropout rate, and there are various factors. One of the factors can be just text based learning, can be one of the factors, means poor method of teaching can be other factors. So that means the method of teaching that we are promoting so far may not be beneficial for all the students, hence inclusion purpose is not solved. So that means what we have to focus on is unique capabilities, flexibility in approaches, and definitely leading to more equity and inclusion so that each and every child is able to thrive in the education system. Now further, from where it is going to start? It is going to start right from the preschool, yes, or the early schooling. So early childhood. So preschools or the play schools or the Anganwadis, from there it has to start. But now when the child is growing up, going to school or the colleges, it should be moving towards more multidisciplinary education. Multidisciplinary and holistic education. Rather than focusing on just certain few subjects. So the general tendency where we ultimately what turn the tables against various subjects. For example, education curriculum comprises of all the disciplines and activities. But certain subjects are almost forced or imposed on the students. For example, opt for science, your future will be bright. But only future will tell whether your future is going to become bright or not. So opt for commerce, opt for maybe management courses, you may be getting a job. Because orientation is just getting a job rather than wider learning and understanding. But many times there are various reports by the FICCI or the SHM or the NESCOM, the industry organizations, that many of the engineers MBAs are not employable. And on the other side, we are not paying attention to humanities, sports, culture of music, art and craft, socially useful productive work. This clearly means that the things which are supposed to provide basic values and understanding and awareness about the society, we are not teaching them well. So this is creating a problem for our society. That means now the education system should be multidisciplinary rather than focusing on what few subjects. And it's also required at the level of IITs also. In the IITs, by just focusing on more science and technology, we may be creating what better, maybe better people who may be good in what shaping technology or working in technology or maybe designing softwares or the apps or maybe designing machines, may be good in running the business, earning profits. For them, profits are only numbers. They may be least concerned about the society or the environment conservation. So that means when we are including what multidisciplinary education even in the IITs, that means we are going to create what more concerned people even if they are heading the business. Because now when we talk about the responsible business, it should be reflecting 3P approach. You may be knowing 3P approach, that is concern for people, concern for planet, and then definitely using profit for more social development. Now, this type of approach should be coming in the mindsets, and that will only be imparted through multidisciplinary education, where the humanities are also taught along with science in the institutes like IITs. So, the best way forward is multidisciplinary education, and it should be based on what? Conceptual understanding, not rote learning. So what we do in the schools, we are just mugging up the question and answers, and there are certain schools which ask the students to take important question and answers, and they appear in the examination by doing rote learning, and they vomit in the examination. That means they learn only for the examination, then they forget every possible thing, move to the next class, again do the same what rote learning, again vomit. After 12th class, we have vomited every possible thing. Now, when I talk about UPSC aspirants, when they start preparing for UPSC examination, again various teachers say that you have to restart with NCERTs. Why NCERTs? Because they were not taught properly in schools, because the focus was rote learning and just writing the examination and forgetting every possible thing. Now you are grown up people, more than 20-25 years of age. When you read the same NCERTs again, the meaning and purpose will be completely different. So what we require? Conceptual understanding rather than rote learning or learning only for the examinations. Now, when we promote conceptual learning, so what becomes more powerful? Creativity and critical thinking becomes powerful. First of all, critical thinking is not criticism. Critical thinking is using your knowledge to identify what is right and what is wrong. And when you identify what is wrong, you know the root causes, try to improve the conditions. So, critically analyzing mind always works for improvement. Now, when the persons or the students or the young generation have more creativity and critical thinking, definitely it's easy to impart values also, because critical thinking definitely helps in identifying right and wrong, so values can be more stronger. So which values are being highlighted in national education policy? So let's see all those values one by one. First value is empathy. So empathy is concern for others. Yes, we should be concerned for others. We should be concerned for the people in our society. Concern for the, yes, the flora, the fauna. Yes, so we should be concerned about the entire existence. Respect for others. So respect for the people irrespective of the background. Respect for all the genders. Respect for all the social classes. People belong to different cultures. So the general tendency of respect for others. Cleanliness, yes, this is a very important quality which should be visible in the attitudes and approaches of all the people in the society. Courtesy, politeness. So we should be polite, yes? Polite towards all. So politeness again should be transcending the social barriers. So we should be polite in our day-to-day functioning, polite to our employees, polite to our workers, to colleagues, to general people in the society. Politeness is required. Democratic spirit. Democratic spirit is displayed in the form of what our inclusive approach, participative approach, means combined decision making, and definitely not showing the biases on the basis of gender, caste, religion, color, or maybe regional cultural differences. Spirit of service, yes, there should be spirit of service for the family, for the community, for the society, for the nation. There should be spirit of service. We should be committed to put our best foot forward. Respect for public property is another important feature of the values, basic values that should be visible. Scientific temper means rationality in thinking. There should be logical outlook. Liberty. So liberty in thought, liberty in expression, liberty in faith. So we should be ultimately what encouraging liberty of all the people in the society. It's not only concerned with our voice, it's concerned with the voice of all. Liberty. Responsibility. The responsibility can be displayed in our day-to-day activities. For example, abiding with traffic rules and regulation is also responsibility shown towards the society. Responsibility in terms of waste management, water management. So responsibility is required everywhere. Now, when all these values are becoming strengthened, definitely sustainability of the world, the society increases, because all these things will be visible in the attitudes, approaches, actions of the people. For the pluralism. So India is a land of diversity. There are diversity of culture, the diversity of languages, the diversity of what customs, rituals, every possible thing. Diversity is there, and diversity adds to richness. It adds to the variety. It adds to the spice of the country. And oneness destroys the spice. It creates monotony. It creates boredom. Let me give you an example. When you see the entire nature is filled with colors, filled with different colors, and we love to see different colors. It suits our eyes. Imagine the world is having just one color. We will die of what? Blindness by seeing one color. We turn mad. Now, when I talk about even there are millions of species on Earth. Imagine Earth having only one species. And in the areas where there's a oneness of colors, then the people add color to their lives. For example, when I talk about a Thar desert in Rajasthan, and everything is brown sand, and you'll find the most colorful clothing in Rajasthan worn by the Indian women there, and definitely the most colorful pagdis or the headgears by the men, because they want to add color to the life because they are bored of seeing the same brown sand. When I talk about the Greenland or the areas of permafrost, there is completely what snow cover throughout the year. They are only seeing what white. They are facing white blindness. They want to break that monotony. Hence, when you Google search, see the houses in what maybe Norway or maybe see the houses in what Greenland, the most colorful houses they make. They will want to add colors in their life. So, world moves forward on the basis of acceptance of diversity rather than forcing only oneness on the people, which is highly destructive in nature. Oneness is imposed by one weed that is called water hyacinth. Water hyacinth. So it grows on a pond. It expands fast on the pond. It sucks the oxygen. It kills the other aquatic life there. And finally, it also destroys the pond on which it has expanded. So oneness always kills. Plurality always promotes what the sustainability of the society. And let's talk about the next thing, equality. Yes, equality of opportunity and status, and justice. We always talk about political, economic, and social. All these are values which can be imparted through multidisciplinary education system, through a system of education which is more conceptual in nature, a system which ultimately pushes the thinking limits of the people, make them more aware, and definitely when the people have all these, society and the world becomes sustainable. So we can definitely apply sustainable development goals. But for teaching in such a manner, we require high quality teachers, we require full quota of teachers, we require regular capacity building and skill development teachers, because without quality teachers, we may not be able to impart this. A country is made by two people. One are the good quality teachers and good quality leaders. And even the leaders are created by good quality teachers when they are being taught properly in schools, and we require more logical, educated leaders to drive the country and society. Hence, there's a huge importance of good quality teachers in the society. So all this can be imparted by teachers and faculty as the heart of the learning process. So there should be their regular recruitment processes. All the posts should be filled. There should be professional development, regular skill training, upscaling their knowledge so that they are able to use multimodal methods, address the flexibility requirements, address the uniqueness of each and every child, and even imparting them best of the knowledge. That means we have to work in terms of what reshaping the education system so that it is not being just focused on degrees, diplomas, and certificates. So as I told you, teachers shape the destiny of the nation. And destiny of the nation, if the leaders are also being emerging from these youngsters who are being taught well, definitely the leaders, once in position, they will also be shaping the country in the right manner. So broad education system always promotes sustainability of the society. And now we are living in 21st century. The world changes very fast. Now, when you see from the job angle, the jobs or the livelihoods that we are seeing today may not be there in what next 15-20 years. We have to evolve our education systems. Gone are the days when the people used to retire from the same desk, working for 35 years and getting a retirement check. So we have to regularly rebuild the curriculums. We have to reshape the curriculums, upgrade the curriculums. Not only from a job perspective, but also from the social perspective and environmental perspective. So next thing and the last most important point here is sustained research for outstanding education and development. Sustained research for outstanding education and development. So that means we regularly need to improve our education system by adding what new feature, more futuristic features in our education system so that our young generation is getting trained again and again to handle the society in future in a more sustainable manner. I hope you must have understood the National Education Policy 2020 fundamental principles. I was just focusing if these are the features, how these should be applied, because the time has come to what broad base the meaning and purpose of education beyond degrees, diplomas, and just literacy. I request you to watch first, see the SDG video, understand the SDG video, that is what is the meaning of real development, then try to link that video with the education system that is required to promote that sustainable development goals. Then you will be able to what link the entire what perspective. So on this note, re-see the previous video SDG and this video, try to connect. Okay, share the video, subscribe the channel. Thank you. I will be coming with a next video on another very important topic. Thank you. I am your guide Ritesh Kumar Singh. Thank you.